Yeah, I do. I'm really confident in an AJ knockout, being honest. I think that Daniel's strengths play into AJ's hands as well as his weaknesses. So I think I like the fight for AJ.
I think it's going to be a good fight, you know. It's going to be a really good fight, and you know, best man wins. I know Dubois is on a win streak, and he deserves it, you know, all the hard work and dedication. But it's gonna be a tough fight, but nothing is impossible.
Undoubtedly, Anthony Joshua opens up as a favorite with the bookies against Daniel Dubois, but there are plenty of experts picking Triple D, so many of them that are making the fight seem like a 50-50. The British heavyweight titans are set to duke it out on Saturday night at Wembley Stadium, in a fight that holds serious implications for both men's careers.
You know, even though I lost the fight against him, it wasn't my best performance. I wasn't in my best shape. But he's a good kid, man. Dubois is a good guy, man. I mean, outside of boxing, I got love for him and his team.
Whoever emerges victorious will go home with the International Boxing Federation heavyweight title and punch their ticket for an undisputed clash against the winner of Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury II on December 21st, whereas a loss for either man could spell the end of their time at the top. Joshua is nearing the twilight of his career and doesn't have much time left to claw his way back to the upper echelons of the division if he falls to defeat.
Yeah, I do. I'm really confident in an AJ knockout, being honest. I think that Daniel's strengths play into AJ's hands as well as his weaknesses.
Meanwhile, Dubois, although still young, has already failed twice against elite competition. Usyk in 2023 and Joe Joyce in 2020. Triple D was labeled a quitter by several members of the boxing fraternity after seeing out counts against both boxers on one knee. However, gutsy wins over Jarrell Miller and Filip Hrgovic in his last two outings have gone a long way in shifting that narrative. Joshua also had his fair share of detractors following back-to-back losses to Usyk in 2021 and 2022. Yet the Watford powerhouse has bounced back well with 4 wins on the bounce against Jermaine Franklin, Robert Helenius, Otto Wallen, and Francis Ngannou. Now, they are set to do battle in the English capital, and everyone has an opinion on how it will go down. The Chinese heavyweight contender, Zhilei Zhang, who lost to Joshua at the 2012 London Olympics as an amateur, said, "I personally favor Dubois to pull this off because he is on the surge. He is hungry, he is young, and he has the fire in him. He had a beautiful knockout victory over Filip Hrgovic last time, so I really have my faith in the underdog. He will shock the world."
Do you think he beats Dubois?
It's hard to say. It's really a difficult question.
Former world title challenger who beat Joshua in the amateurs but lost the rematch in the pros in 2015, Joseph Parker told TalkSport, "AJ's saying he's the underdog and he's got doubters. I don't think no one's doubting him. I don't think he's the underdog." Dubois is saying the same. I just think that it's one of those fights where it is a genuine 50-50 fight in my opinion. Vidal Riley, a cruiserweight prospect that beat Dubois in the amateurs and later sparred him, is backing his manager AJ to get the job done.
My favorite fight coming up. Listen, I do love the main event because it's heavyweights. I think Joshua Alexander Dubois. Who else do I like? I want to see later. I didn't like seeing Kakashi fight in his last fight. He looked very good.
He said, "I believe AJ will win by knockout in 5 rounds. It's going to be an explosive start, but AJ is more refined with his technique. He will land the clean punches and get Dubois out of there early." Tony Bellew, former world cruiserweight champion, also picked AJ as his favorite to win the fight in Wembley Stadium. He said, "Both guys have got quite a lot of experience, but I just think Anthony Joshua has got more world-class experience. If Dubois is there after 5 or 6 rounds, then it's a really good fight. And it's a really dangerous fight for AJ."
There you go, Dan.
Well, we sparred hundreds of rounds, didn't it?
You cracked him, Daniel. So you know you can hurt him.
It's sparring. Now we're fighting. It's different, you know?
I think he's Dubois getting knocked out within 4 rounds. With everything he's good at, I think AJ is a little bit better. The only thing that you have to then look at is whether he can outlast him. That's the biggest question for me. Can Daniel outlast AJ? That is one question we're going to find out. During a recent appearance on TalkSport, former 3-weight world champion Mackenzie said, "If I had one person right now to win this particular fight, I'm slightly leaning towards Dubois. Simply because when you look at the last few fights they have had, AJ's had the softer ride in. Dubois has more natural athleticism about him. He's looser than AJ. He would have done his research on AJ and knows how to beat him.
It's different. Ready to go. Let's move on now. We can move on now.
Oh,
Move on.
okay.
Joyce, the big punching heavyweight, stopped Dubois 4 years ago but backed him to have the better of Joshua, saying, "I was initially edging with Joshua, but I don't know. Dubois is coming on." Dubois' promoter is understandably backing his man, telling TalkSport, "Since the fight with Usyk, he has matured mentally and he also matured physically. He is a different type of guy and he is more confident in what he is doing."
It depends. Like, okay, what's Joshua going to do? Is he going to go? Is he going to keep it on the jab and movement and stuff? And then Dubois, is he going to have to close the distance, or is it going? Is it going to be a firefight in the middle? It depends how the fight goes.
That confidence level at the moment is very, very high, and he has to maintain that on the night. And if the confidence is there, I really fancy him to do the job. For me, this is going to be his moment. Joshua's promoter, meanwhile, believes the record-breaking Wembley crowd and pressure will prove too much for Dubois to handle.
Great fight, huge event. When His Excellency said Riyadh season was coming to London, I didn't say I didn't believe him, but I didn't really get the mindset behind it.
Dubois, I think his head will fall off on Saturday, Hearn said, but that could make him more dangerous. I'm not sure he'll be able to execute his specific game plan. I think he could come out like a bull again, which is dangerous and might be his best chance, but he might get bumped. I think he'll come out, make mistakes, have a high output, but he won't be able to anticipate walking through that tunnel. I think even Dillian Whyte folded a bit versus Tyson Fury at Wembley in 2022, to be honest with you. He'd had some big nights, and I wasn't at the fight, but I was watching him and thinking, God, he looks like he's not even with it. And he did nothing in the fight.
What he's built is just an incredible night. Huge main event, huge undercard, and massive night for AJ, chance to become a 3-division world champion.
Current undisputed heavyweight champion Usyk, who isn't only the champion of the world but has conquered both Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois, said, "My favorite is Anthony Joshua, but I am very bad at predictions. I think it's AJ. I respect both of these guys, but I predict Anthony." Let's just put 2 and 2 together here. Dubois took 56 clean right hands in the first 4 rounds against Filip Hrgović. You'll get away with 1 or 2 against AJ, and then you know what happens? You go to sleep. Speaking to TalkSport, rising heavyweight prospect Thomas said, "It's all down to the preparation with fighting."
I love it, man. I love to see both of these guys kind of have a resurgence to their careers. Joshua has just been simply lights out recently.
You could have 2 trainers with the same fighter and a completely different result. I feel like with preparation, this is the key. I'm not gonna lie. I think Ben Davison Joshua's trainer has got it on lock. Parker, who has fought and lost to Joshua, told Seconds Out, "If you compare the 2 guys, Joshua does look the favorite, but you can never count Dubois out. So I do give him a chance, but Joshua is my favorite."
Yeah, it's kind of like a respect fight too. Both of the heavyweights want respect, and they've been dreaming about this time in one sense. Both have different things to prove.
Lennox Lewis, who was the former undisputed heavyweight champion before Alexander Usyk, clearly picked Joshua as his favorite. The key is experience, and that makes Joshua the favorite. Joshua has been in bigger fights like Alexander Usyk twice, but I also think Dubois has a great chance. He's been sitting at the back, and he's the underdog to a certain degree. He wants to come out of that shell. He wants people to see him in a different light, so here's his opportunity to prove it. These opportunities only come once in a lifetime, so you have got to seize the moment. His graduation from each fight over the last 3 has been terrific. It's not finished yet. There's another step. He's 27, the perfect age.
Daniel Dubois has the fact that, he wants to be the heavyweight champion of the world, and he wants to be the top man in England. And as far as Anthony Joshua, this is a test.
Fraser Clark, a fighter who has sparred with both, also gave AJ the edge. It's a really competitive, good fight. I still have AJ as my favorite, but I've said this before and I'll say it again. If Dubois is not the heaviest puncher I've been in with, he's probably in the top 3 or 4. He can really whack. It's a different kind of punch. I think on a single shot, probably Joshua hits harder, just because it comes with a bit more speed.
He's obviously confident now. I still have AJ winning that fight. I just feel like if Daniel gets hit half as much as he did against AJ as he did Hrgović, it's a different fight. It's different power.
As heavy-handed as Dubois is, and as good a fighter as he's becoming, I still have to go for Joshua. That's through no favoritism, but my professional opinion that the experiences of Joshua and the magnitude of the fight is something which is a lot more normal to AJ than it is to Dubois. Former UFC heavyweight champion Ngannou, who lost to Joshua in 2024, said, "Even though Joshua lost against Usyk twice, and Dubois fought Usyk and almost knocked him down and almost won, I would still give this to Joshua."
Hands off AJ and live to tell the tale. Do you know what I mean? You're asleep on the floor. It's that simple.
Former trainer turned pundit Teddy Atlas had plenty of praise for Dubois after his recent showings. I think Dubois has grown. I think that he has grown in the last 2 fights as a fighter, as a man, as a person with confidence, belief in himself to win the last 2 fights and overcome what he had to overcome. Dubois has done that. He then reckoned Joshua is also back to his best. Joshua is in the best place that he's been since he beat Klitschko for the title, a young heavyweight champion after being an Olympic champion. I think he's in a good place with his trainer, Ben Davison.
Dubois has proven himself to be a pro, like a warrior. Like he had those bad fights where he gave in, where he broke down in the Usyk fight.
Atlas then predicted Dubois could do well if he lands some big shots on Joshua. Dubois was tremendous in his last fight with Hrgovic. He overcame, he broke him down, he evaporated him on a hot summer day with his toughness, his physicality. He's strong, a puncher, he can impose his will now. If he hits Joshua, he could hurt him. However, he also sounded alarms about Dubois' defense and said the fight could end early if the younger man fought as he did in his last outing. But if he gets hit with the kind of right hand he overcame from Hrgovic, who doesn't punch as hard or concisely as Joshua, if he gets hit with his right hands in the early part of the fight, he won't be around to overcome it. He'll get knocked out. Unless he's improved his defense, his ability to get away from right hands, which he did not do against Hrgovic, Joshua's going to knock him out in 1 or 2 rounds.
First with the low blow, but at the end of the day, he didn't get it done. Obviously, he also didn't get it done in the Joyce fight.
Ahead of the bout, in an interview with the Upfront podcast, David Haye has praised Joshua and the improvements he has made since 2 losses to Usyk. This new Anthony Joshua would have smoked the old Anthony Joshua in 1 round. Plain and simple, this version 1 round, 2 rounds max, he would have took him out. He's setting shots up. Everything's strategized, everything's sequenced. This is the Ben Davison effect. He understands it. He's starting to understand what his attributes are and implement them into his strategy and his game plan, as opposed to bouncing around jab right hand. Dubois has bounced back in good fashion from his defeat to the Ukrainian too. Wins over Jarrell Miller and Filip Hrgovic showed a grit that some felt was lacking before. However, former cruiserweight and heavyweight champion Haye believes the version of Dubois that faced Hrgovic faces an uphill battle against hard-hitting Joshua. If the version of Dubois who fought Hrgovic turns up, I think Dubois has a very, very hard night. He took too many right hands. He was eating right hands all night. Dubois has got a great chin, fantastic chin. No one can question his chin. Few, if any, in the sport are predicting this one goes the distance.
You just look at the men and just look at the way they've both performed in their careers. You don't get hit with 30 backhands off AJ and live to tell the tale. Do you know what I mean? You're asleep on the floor.
Daniel Dubois has set his sights on launching a new era in heavyweight boxing by defeating Anthony Joshua this weekend. Dubois will be making the first defense of the IBF title he was awarded after Alexander Usyk was forced to vacate it in June. The Ukrainian made the decision to vacate the title after beating Tyson Fury the previous month. Joshua, on the other hand, has been the heavyweight division's preeminent fighter since turning professional in the wake of winning Olympic gold in 2012, and has rebuilt his career following defeats to Andy Ruiz Jr. and Usyk. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling confident, I'm soaking up the atmosphere and the energy. I'm going to feed off that energy, Dubois said. I can't wait for it. It's my time, I'm ready for it. By any means necessary, it's about the victory. Before he continued, I'm feeling good, confident. I'm just relaxed and soaking it all up. Soaking up the energy, it's good. I'm just gonna feed off of that energy and build it up. I can't wait for it. It's my time. I'm ready for it.
Well, it's a resurrection story of my career, and I'm just on a roll right now. So, I just want the biggest challenges and make a name for myself and create.
You guys are going to see that this is my time. I'm the man. I need to go out there and legitimize it. I'm the champ, yes, by any means necessary. Victory, that's it. Dubois promoter Frank Warren added, I'm excited. I think we've got a fabulous show on Saturday night. It's going to be an all-action fight. They're both massive punchers. It won't go the distance, but it's going to be really exciting while it lasts. This is huge. 96,000 people. That's all you need to know. It's the biggest attendance ever in Europe for a fight. That says it all. That's how it should be as well. It's a tremendous card. Wembley special Riyadh season. It's an unbelievably completed fight card with great fights all the way through. Don't blink. Every fight is going to be an absolute barnstormer, every one of them. It's fabulous. I mean, look at it. Everyone has come out for it. This is what it's all about. It's big-time boxing. It's boxing at the highest level.
History. You've had some ups and downs like every fighter, every top fighter. The ups recently have been very good. Jarrell Miller, Filip Hrgovic.
Eddie and I couldn't put a card together like this because of the fact that it's being sponsored and put together in association with Riyadh season. It makes it work. It's been an unbelievable year for boxing. And when he sat with a debater, Frank Warren was not in the mood to entertain Spencer Oliver's prediction for Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois. The heavyweights meet in an intriguing heavyweight clash this weekend live on TalkSport, with the former's IBF heavyweight world title at stake. Mark Robinson, Matchroom Boxing and Dynamite's promoter Warren, sat down with Simon Jordan and Oliver to preview the clash on TalkBoxing, backing his charge Dubois to get the job done. Oliver, the former European bantamweight champion, suggested Joshua would be the first to land and insisted the fight wouldn't go 6 rounds either way.
I mean, look, you know, you've got two fighters there, and as I said, for me, it's all about heart and mind. Who's got the mindset to stick to his game plan, and who's got the heart when they get clips, because someone's going to get clipped.
The rebuild Daniel Dubois has had, he's going to take the fight to Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua helped Francis Ngannou repay huge loan from UFC star Kamaru Usman, but that puts him in a dangerous place. It could be a case of who finds their range first. Anthony Joshua has got to use his space and control it and get off with his own right hand. The fight doesn't see the second half for sure because Dubois goes and Joshua has to meet him, as he isn't that fighter who moves and moves. Whoever lands the first right hand, Frank gets knocked out. AJ doesn't have to go looking for Daniel. Warren immediately hit back and said, I don't agree with that, but was cut off before he could argue his point. Instead, the pair disputed and tried to state their points before attention turned to Dubois' win over big punching Filip Hrgovic in June. Daniel Dubois took a lot of right hands in that, and he can't take them against Anthony Joshua. And Hrgovic doesn't carry the power that AJ looks like. Warren responded, but he showed a good chin and good whiskers. What I see it as, when they come out, they will both be using their jab to set up letting the right hand go.
I don't mean getting knocked out. I mean when they get the first hurtful punch, to be able to carry on with a game plan. Because whoever goes on the back foot, they get hurt and go on the back foot, they're going to be in trouble.
It's a difficult fight, you know. Daniel's young, he's hungry, he's obviously confident now. I still have AJ winning that fight.
And if the jab and right hand goes, they both become vulnerable, and it's going to be who can take that shot. I don't think it goes beyond 6 either, but I think it is interesting to see what AJ shows up. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.